whispers beneath the stars. The night was calm, painted in shades of indigo, with the moon hanging like a silver lantern above the quiet countryside. A gentle breeze carried the scent of wildflowers across the meadow, and in that silence, Emily sat on the wooden fence, her eyes fixed on the starlit sky. She often came here after long days at work, searching for peace in the constellations. What she didn't expect was to find someone else sharing the same ritual. Liam appeared one evening, a notebook in his hand, his step soft against the grass. He didn't notice her at first, lost in scribbling something under the moonlight. Emily, curious, finally spoke. Writing poems under the stars, she teased, her voice soft but carrying through the quiet field. Startled, Liam looked up, his eyes catching hers. There was something in his gaze, warmth mixed with a touch of surprise. Something like that, he replied with a shy smile. And you? Counting stars, or wishing upon them? Emily laughed, a sound that seemed to echo with the night's stillness. Maybe both. But tonight, I think I've already found something worth wishing for. From that moment, their lives began to intertwine like vines reaching for the same sunlight. Emily was a painter, filling canvases with sunsets and rivers, while Liam was a teacher who poured his soul into words, dreaming of writing a novel one day. They met at the meadow every evening, she with her sketchbook, he with his notebook, and slowly, their hearts started sketching a story of their own. Weeks turned into months, and their bond grew stronger. Liam would read his unfinished chapters to Emily, and she would paint the images his words inspired. One night, as fireflies danced around them, he confessed. You know, every character I write, every line of dialogue, it somehow leads back to you. You've become my story, Emily. Her heart raced, and for a moment, the world seemed to stand still. She leaned closer, whispering, and you've become the color I didn't know my art was missing. Their first kiss beneath the stars was soft, trembling with all the unspoken words they had carried. But love, as they both learned, isn't always written in a straight line. Liam received an offer to teach abroad, a chance to fulfill a dream he had carried for years. When he told Emily, the meadow was silent, the night heavy with uncertainty. Go, she whispered, though her heart cracked with each word. Your dreams deserve to take flight. And if they carry you far away, then I'll just keep painting skies until they bring you back. Tears filled Liam's eyes, but he held her close. I'll return. No matter how far I go, this meadow, this place, you, will always be home. Years passed. Emily painted countless skies, always leaving one corner unfinished, saving it for the color of Liam's return. She visited the meadow often, whispering to the stars, carrying faith like a lantern in the dark. And one spring evening, when the meadow was alive with blossoms, she heard footsteps behind her, the same familiar rhythm she had memorized long ago. She turned, and there he was. Older, but with the same warmth in his eyes, carrying the same notebook, now complete. I kept my promise, Liam said, voice trembling. I've come home. Emily's tears blurred her vision, but she smiled through them. And I've saved the last color for you. As the sun dipped and the stars began to glow, they stood hand in hand beneath the endless sky, their story no longer written in words or paint, but in the quiet eternity of love that had waited, endured, and finally returned. When the stars fell over Verona. The night had just begun in Verona, a small Italian town known for its ancient stone bridges and streets lit by golden lamps. Isabella, a young artist with paint always on her hands, leaned against the balcony of her small apartment. Her sketchbook lay open, half-finished drawings of the moon and river scattered across the pages. She always believed that love was something distant, like a star you could see but never reach. That was until she met Luca. Luca was a violinist who played in the quiet square beneath her window every Friday evening. His music was different from others, it wasn't just skill, it was soul. His notes lingered in the air long after he finished playing, as though they belonged to the night itself. Isabella often found herself sketching his silhouette under the lamp while he played, though she never dared speak to him. One evening, as the square grew quieter, a sudden gust of wind lifted one of her sketches from the balcony. It floated downward and landed near Luca's feet. Curious, he picked it up. His eyes widened when he saw his own figure captured in soft strokes of charcoal. He looked up at the balcony, and Isabella froze, her cheeks burning. For the first time, their eyes met. "You drew this," he called gently, his Italian accent wrapping around the English words like a melody. "Yes," she whispered, almost too soft for him to hear. He smiled, holding the paper as if it were more precious than gold. "Then I suppose I owe you a song." From that night on, their lives intertwined. Isabella painted while Luca played, their worlds of colors and music blending together. Sometimes, he would play until dawn while she painted the sunrise. Other times, they walked along the Adige River, speaking of their dreams, hers of holding an art exhibition, his of playing on the grand stages of Europe. Yet love, as always, was tested. Luca received an invitation to join a famous orchestra in Rome. It was his dream come true, but it also meant leaving Verona, and Isabella, behind. The night before his departure, they met at the old stone bridge. The city was asleep, the stars scattered across the velvet sky. "Go," Isabella whispered, though her voice trembled. "You can't give up your dream for me." "And what if my dream is you?" Luca asked, his hand brushing against hers. Tears welled in her eyes. She wanted to hold him there forever, but she knew she couldn't chain his wings. So she kissed him beneath the falling stars, giving him the strength to leave. Months passed. Verona felt emptier without his music. Isabella poured her longing into her paintings, her canvases filled with images of rivers, bridges, and always, always, a violinist's shadow. Her work grew so powerful that she was invited to display them in Rome. Nervous but determined, she traveled to the city she once feared would take him away. On the night of her exhibition, the gallery buzzed with people admiring her art. Yet her heart raced for only one reason: was he there? And then, through the crowd, she heard it, the unmistakable sound of a violin. She turned, her eyes locking on Luca, standing in the corner, playing just for her. The world faded. The applause, the chatter, the noise, it all disappeared. There was only Isabella and Luca, her paintings, and his music, their souls reuniting in the city that had once separated them. He finished the last note and walked to her. "You see," he whispered, smiling softly. "Dreams can come true. We just had to chase them, together." She didn't answer with words. She simply took his hand, and in that crowded gallery under the Roman lights, love returned, stronger, deeper, eternal. The Bridge of Letters. On the edge of a quiet riverside town stood an old stone bridge. Weathered by centuries of wind and rain, it had become more than just a path across the water. It was a place where secrets were whispered, where dreams lingered, and where hearts often met. For Anna, a young woman with a love for writing, the bridge was her sanctuary. Every evening, after finishing her work at the library, she would walk there with her notebook and fountain pen, letting her thoughts spill onto the pages as the sun dipped into gold. One chilly autumn evening, as Anna leaned against the rail of the bridge, she noticed something unusual. Tucked between the cracks of the stone was a folded piece of paper. Curiosity tugged at her, and she carefully pulled it free. It was a letter. The handwriting was elegant, though slightly hurried. "To whoever finds this, I write because I cannot say aloud what weighs on me. I watch this bridge every evening from the cafe across the street, hoping one day I'll find courage. There is someone who comes here often, always writing. I don't know her name, but her quiet presence feels like poetry itself. If she reads this, perhaps she will understand, beauty is not only in words, but in the silence of the one who writes them." Anna's heart raced. The letter was about her. For the next few days, she could hardly concentrate. She returned to the bridge night after night, searching for another letter. And indeed, another appeared, slipped into the same place, signed only with an initial, L. Each letter was filled with reflections on books, life, and fragments of longing that seemed to echo her own unspoken thoughts. Anna began writing back, slipping her replies into the stone's crevice. She never revealed her name, only signed with A. Thus began a secret correspondence, two souls meeting only in ink. Weeks turned into months, the bridge becoming their confessional, their diary, their meeting place, though they had never yet exchanged a word face to face. Winter arrived, bringing snow that covered the town in silence. Still, their letters continued. Anna found herself smiling at every phrase, every carefully chosen word. Yet a part of her wondered, why hadn't El revealed himself? Was he shy? Was he afraid that reality might break the fragile beauty of their connection? One evening, on the first day of spring, Anna placed her boldest letter yet. If you truly mean the words you write, meet me here tomorrow at sunset. No initials. No hiding. Just us. The next evening, Anna arrived early. The sun cast a golden glow across the river, and her heart pounded so loudly she thought it might leap from her chest. She clutched her notebook tightly, scanning every passerby. Then she saw him. A young man, perhaps a few years older than she, with dark hair and kind eyes. He walked slowly, nervously, carrying something in his hands, a book bound with a ribbon. He stopped in front of her, his voice trembling but warm. Are you? Eh? Anna smiled, tears welling in her eyes. And you must be El. He nodded, then held out the book. These are all the letters. Every one you wrote. I kept them safe. She opened the book, her own words staring back at her, woven together with his. It was as if their hearts had written a story long before their voices ever met. That evening, they sat on the bridge together, not needing many words. The letters had already said everything. What remained was the promise of a future, written not on paper, but in the days and years they would share side by side. And so, the bridge kept its secret, as it always had. But for Anna and Lucas, the man behind El, it would forever be the place where two strangers became writers of the same love story.